Today, we're going to talk about how to set up a digital wallet on your phone. I thought we had done this relatively recently, and then I looked back and it was 3 years ago. So I figured we'd revisit this one. Google Wallet and Apple Wallet are the ones that we're really looking at today. So, setting up a digital wallet. We'll talk about Google Wallet for Android and Apple Wallet for iPhone. I think some Android phones might have their own version of wallet based on the phone brand, but I'm just going to do Google Wallet because you can use it on any Android phone. You can actually use it on Apple phones too, not iPhones too, but you have Apple Wallet automatically installed on your iPhone. So I'm going to tell you how to deal with that too. So what is a digital wallet? These apps let you add your credit card information, your debit card information. They even let you add things like membership cards and stuff like that too, which we're not going to really talk about today. We're going to talk primarily about adding payment methods to your digital wallet. So they let you add those to what is a digital version of a wallet, and then you can use them to pay. Most retailers now, anywhere that does contactless or like tap to pay, you should be able to use Google Wallet and Apple Wallet. Few and far between are the places that they'll say that they don't take it. You can check, but I think mostly you'll find that they do. One of the places that I find it really helpful to use is when you're paying for a subway ride, so the Omni turnstile now, because they don't have Metro cards anymore. So you're tapping your phone, you're not having to get your wallet out and tap your card. I just find that really convenient. That was the reason that I set up a digital wallet to begin with, and now I have it. Digital wallets are convenient and they're secure in a way that actually can be more secure than using a card. We'll talk about that in just a second. And they allow for contactless pay. So you get to just do the tap and move on. Like with many digital tools, there's the question of how safe is this to use? There's a lot of protocols in place that keep this particular data safe because, of course, this is sensitive information, your credit card information, your debit card information. Here's what they do in order to keep that information safe when you enter it into a Google Wallet or Apple Wallet. There's two things, encryption and tokenization. Encryption is basically just like scrambling some of the numbers and information in a way that can't be read by an outside person. And then tokenization means that when you make a transaction, your credit card number is actually replaced by a different generated number called a token. So it's another kind of encryption there in the process. So tokenization is a system that makes digital wallet payments more secure from hackers than traditional card payments. So it's another level of security. And then you add to that, in order to use a digital wallet, you have to have a password or some kind of unlocking mechanism on your phone. It could be Face ID, it could be a password, it could be whatever, it could be some kind of biometrics, but it's required that you have that on your phone if you're using a digital wallet. And I'll show you a little bit about that in a minute. So it has that extra layer of protection too. If someone doesn't know your password, they can't get into there and use that digital wallet. Another good reminder to make sure that your password or whatever locking mechanism you have on your phone is a good one, that it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe, just to make sure that you're keeping it that much more protected. To set up Google Wallet, as with most, if not all apps, we are going to start in the Play Store for Android. So you know the Play Store app, we're going to click on that, open up Play Store, and we're going to search for Google Wallet. Mine's going to come up saying to just open it because I already have it. If you don't have it on your phone, it's going to give you the option to download it and then open it. So here we go. It looks like a little wallet with multiple colors. You're going to hit download, it should say for you if you don't have it, or open. And when you open the Google Wallet app, if you have a Gmail account, if you have a Google account of any kind, your Google Wallet will already be linked to your Gmail account. If you use any sort of Google apps on your phone that you're logged into, it shouldn't ask you to do any sort of further logging in. You don't have to make a new password or anything. So once you have opened Google Wallet, you're going to click where up here, there's an F here for Francis. It might be your profile picture, but you want to click up here in the top right corner of the screen. Before you get to this, it might ask you to unlock your phone, do whatever it is that you do to unlock your phone, if it's a code, if it's your face, if it's a fingerprint, if it prompts you to do that. But once you get to this screen, you're going to click here, and that will get you to all the sort of main menus. And you want to click on payment setup. to set up a new card. If you haven't set up other cards, like the first thing you're adding to your Google Wallet, it's going to prompt you by saying that there are certain phone requirements that you have to use Google Wallet, just to make sure that it's secure, just to make sure your phone is enabled to do the things that Google Wallet needs to do in order to make contactless payment. And so what you're going to see is something that looks like this. So it'll give you the option to add your payment card, but they want to make sure that you have these settings turned on already. I have them all checked here, but if something is X'd off, it'll give you the option to turn it on. Let me just tell you what these are. NFC is near field something. Basically, it means that you can do contactless payment, that if you tap your phone on one of those readers, it'll work. So you have to make sure that is turned on. Google Wallet set up as your default payment app. So if you're planning to pay with Google Wallet, that you set that up to be the one that you're using. That you have some sort of screen lock, like I said, and that your phone just meets security requirements. So if your phone doesn't meet security requirements, chances are that you need to do an update or something, and it'll prompt you to do that. But you want to make sure that all of these are clicked or checked off, and then you'll be able to add a payment card. So what you do is click on that button that says add a payment card. And the screen, I can't show you all of these steps because the digital wallets actually have a security setting in them where you can't take screenshots of certain screens, which is actually good because it means that you can't accidentally share your information with somebody. But what you'll see when you click on this add a payment card is the screen will either ask you to take a picture of your card, so scan it so it can get the information itself, or to enter your card number, expiration date, address, all of that manually. You probably will have to enter your address manually anyway, but if you're given the option, you can scan the card so it picks up the card number and the expiration date on its own. So do whichever of those you would rather do, entering it manually or scanning it directly. And then it will have one of those little things that says, do you agree to the terms of Google Wallet? Scroll down, say yes if you do. And then what you should get is a verification code by text or email. Check your email. I think they generally go to text, so that should pop up in just a few seconds. Make sure you're entering that verification code, and then it should give you the check mark and say you are ready to go. So that is how you set up your first card in Google Wallet. You can do the same process if you have multiple cards, if you have a credit card and a debit card. I don't think that there's a limit on how many you can add. So you can add all your payment methods on there. And then you can use Google Wallet to pay wherever, like I said, it's really common now. Most places you can use it. But if you question it, look out for this logo or this logo, contactless payment. You should be able to use Google Wallet to pay. But sometimes things are like real specifically like GPay, you can use that. So that is your indication that it's accepted. But again, since I did this class 3 years ago, it's accepted in more and more places. So chances are wherever you're trying to pay that it will be. So when you're ready to pay, once you've got it set up, you're like, okay, now I'm going to use my Google Wallet to pay for something. The first thing you want to do is unlock your phone. And then you're going to open that Google Wallet app. If you have multiple cards, you select which card it is you want to use. And then you've got the reader right here. You're going to hold the back of your phone for a couple of seconds. I know I've done this many times where I either do it too fast or too slow or something. Just hold it until you get a check mark pop up on your phone. The check mark will mean that your payment has gone through. And then you're done. You are good to go. You can lock your phone again and you are all set. Again, if you have multiple cards, make sure you're using the card you mean to pay for something. So make sure you've selected it. It's on the screen when you go to pay, but it's really that straightforward. So let's talk a bit about iPhones and Apple Wallet, which is a similar process. Apple Wallet is actually pre-installed on all iPhones, so you should have it on there already unless you've accidentally deleted it. So what you're going to look for is an icon that looks like this. So similar, it's a multicolored wallet. It's got a black background. If you can't find it, you can go to the App Store and search for Apple Wallet, and it will either prompt you to open it, which will find it wherever it is on your phone, or download it again. But it should be in there somewhere. Once you have opened Apple Wallet, you've clicked on that icon, you're going to see this plus button. And that's what you use to add a new card. So say you want to add your credit card, you're going to click that plus button first. Then you're going to follow the steps on the screen to set up your card. You again have the option to take a picture of your card or enter your card information manually. Generally on Apple Wallet, really prompts you to take a picture of your card and then they'll read the number off of it. They can also pick up if you have cards that you've saved, like for payment methods otherwise, but not put them in your digital wallet, they may prompt you to add those as well. And like with Google Wallet, you will also get a verification code by text or email just to confirm that you yourself are the one setting this up. Make sure you enter that code when prompted to do it, and you should be ready to go and ready to use. In some cases, I think this happens more often with Apple Wallet than with Google Wallet. You may receive a notice from your bank that you need to download that particular bank's banking app in order to use Apple Wallet. I don't know how often this happens anymore, but if that happens, what they're asking you to do is just make sure that you have the bank app on your phone as well. And so those two things can communicate with each other. If you're comfortable doing that, just go ahead and look up the banking app. So let's say you have TD, you just look up the TD banking app and add that to your phone as well, which is a good thing to have too. And as with Google Wallet, you can use this to pay anywhere you see the Apple Pay symbol or contactless, more places than not. And just like with Google Wallet, when you are ready to pay with Apple Wallet, you unlock your phone, you can open the Apple Wallet app. If you have it defaulted to a particular card, you can actually just tap it without opening the Apple Wallet app. But if you have multiple cards, you want to make sure you're on the right card. And then you're going to hold the back of the phone to the payment reader for a couple seconds until you see the check mark and you're set, you've paid. And there will be a record of that payment under the card in your Google Wallet or Apple Wallet as well. So if you are questioning if the payment went through, you can tap on that particular card and see the recent transactions, which I think is helpful too, especially if you're like, did I hold that long enough? Did I see the check mark? Something like that, just to know that the payment has successfully gone through. I actually think I set up Google Wallet around the time that I did the class on it the first time around, so about 3 years ago, and I have not had any problems with it. I find it really helpful for the subway in particular. You don't have to touch money. You're not getting money on your hands and stuff. Cash has become just one of those things that people use less and less. I still like cash for some things. You see the signs in the store about not having pennies and things like that. So there's a lot of digital payment that's going on, even more so than there has been. So this is just another way to do that confidently and securely. It was helpful for me to hear that there's actually levels of security involved in paying with a digital wallet that are better than just pulling your card out. Also, sometimes too, you don't want to pull out your wallet all the time. It's just another option.